Chairman, ladies and gentlemen of this Honorable Congress, my name is J.M. Walter, and very humbly, I stand before all of you today as both a native Marylander and as a native Southerner. Now, I would not be so arrogant as to assume that I possess a monopoly on the truth, but today I seek to set the record straight regarding my native state and my fellow citizens of Maryland. I'm not going to insult this Congress by conducting a lecture on the politics of the 1860s. I would submit that most of us already know that Maryland would have seceded and joined her sister southern states in the Confederate States of America. We know that the Yankee tyrant, Abraham Lincoln, ordered the invasion of Maryland by tens of thousands of Yankee troops in order to prevent her from doing just that. We know that numerous members of our legislature were arrested for their defense of Southern rights and liberty. We all know that the other representatives of the people of Maryland were threatened, arrested, or worse, for the very same reason. And we know of the suppression of the press and the rigging of our elections by the United States government. But we also know that, in spite of an attempt to cut us away from our sister states, at least 25,000 Marylanders crossed the Potomac to fight in defense of Maryland and all of Dixie. But all of this discourse concerning the war to prevent Southern independence, quite frankly, overlooks the Southern morals, ways, and culture of Maryland. Certainly not every Southerner is a Marylander, but every genuine native Marylander is a Southerner. That, I can assure y'all, my friends, a border state is nothing more than a Southern state that was prevented from seceding by brute force on the part of the Yankees. A state whose history and modern culture our enemies seek to cleanse. With the expansion of the Leviathan known as the federal government, a swarm of outsiders from the north and beyond, individuals with whom we share no common culture or outlook, have descended upon Maryland, seeking to commit nothing short of cultural genocide. Yet here we are today, united with our brethren, our fellow Southerns, in possession of the truth, our native Maryland, that is Southern identity, and the will to survive and defend our liberty and identity. Our enemies wish to lead our countrymen to believe that we're dead, but ladies and gentlemen, I can assure y'all that we are by no means dead. Our culture, our identity, and that spark still resides within Marylanders in the face of this monster, this empire which seeks to destroy us all. I must admit that I'm not an overly optimistic individual by nature, but it is in defense of and working with my fellow Marylanders and fellow Southerns that I have truly learned to hope. Seeing this fire, this will to resist tyranny despite all the lies, corruption, and evil. And is this not the very spirit of this Congress? At the end of the day, should this honorable Congress decide to not extend full voting rights to Maryland, we will still go home knowing who and what we are, and that is your brethren, your fellow Southerns. But aside from this altruistic recognition by our brothers and sisters, would it not be in the best interest of the entire Southern people to recognize and include us? After all, we embody many of the very same grievances our sister states seek to make known. Though once very southern, the central area of Maryland is occupied territory. But in southern Maryland, the eastern shore, and western Maryland, our people cling to their cultural heritage and still live accordingly. Should this Congress recognize us in such a way, many more of us will come back to the sessions of this Congress. What's more, I cannot properly convey the number of Marylanders who once again wish to stand alongside our sister states, fiery individuals who will do so. We all know of heavily occupied areas of our states, Northern Virginia, Atlanta, South Florida. All we ask is to not be confused with our carpetbaggers. Please, I implore this Congress and its members to reclaim us in y'all's hearts and minds, for as I tell anyone among our brethren, we have not forgotten about y'all. I wish to end my remarks with an excerpt from our state song, Maryland, My Maryland. Dear mother, burst the tyrant's chain, Maryland. Virginia should not call in vain. Maryland, she meets her sisters on the plain. Sic semper 'tis the proud refrain that baffles minions back and main. Arise in majesty again. Maryland, my Maryland. No, Virginia did not call in vain. Maryland answered and joined her sisters on the plain in defense of our Southern rights and liberty, given to us by Almighty God. Even more importantly, today we stand alive, dedicated, and prepared to stand alongside our fellow sovereign states of the South. But what we humbly ask of this Congress is an answer to our own call, the very same call expressed by all of Dixie, so that we may forever seal our shared bonds and work together in defiance of tyranny. That being said, once again, very humbly, we ask that this Congress extend full representation and voting rights to Maryland. Thank you kindly, and God save the South.